Okay. So we are just getting started, guys. Please give me a minute and we will have this all set up. I'm literally just going to. I'm just literally sorting a couple of bits and then we'll be ready to go. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Say hello in the chat if you're here. I hope you've got your drinks. I've currently got my lovely cup of tea with a T for Tyler because that's my name. And we are going to get started in just a moment. Let me know if the audio's okay. If there's any issues with audio, let me know. I'm using a different mic to what I usually use because my mic died. So I need to buy a new one. So yeah. Yo, Caliber 55. Hi, super duper. What's up, man? How's it going? I hope you're doing alright. It says my audio's a bit funny, so hopefully, to what I usually. It says it sounds like it's fine to me. I also have my Persian tea. Lovely, good stuff. I've just got an English breakfast tea. So, yes, standard tea for me in England. A standard English tea. I don't know. It's not standard in every country. I don't know why I said that. Sorry. Okay. So, welcome to the stream. We're going to be using Godot. I'm going to be trying to build this game as a little fun project, potentially even if it becomes a good game, potentially sell it. I saw a game, so I'm going to show you my inspiration here. It's called Coin Factory, right? And I was just watching Alexa. I don't know if anyone watches him play, but I was just watching him play, and I saw this. Right? It's so simple. It's so nice. It just you just move coins around. It's idle. It's incremental, and you slowly get more. It looks so good. So I want to build a cheese factory. Now, the reason I chose cheese is your mic is a little bit low, but I can hear you perfecto. Okay, let me just up it just a tad. Hopefully, we'll bring it up about here, maybe here. How does that sound? Is that any better? Hopefully that's all right. Let me know if it isn't, or if it's too loud now. Please let me know, and we'll keep adjusting it until you guys are absolutely happy with it. But yeah, so I saw this and I was like, this is really cool. I hate that it's diagonal. And I chose cheese because if you've ever been a part of my Discord server, you know we all have a weird thing for cheese. So cheese is now our Lord and Savior. Cheese is the holy artifact in our community. So that is what we are going off. So this is what we're on. Coin Factory, similar to that, but I'm gonna make it not isometric. It's gonna be flat because I feel like isometric will blow my mind. And we're just gonna create our first project. Let's select game development, select folder, and we're gonna call this Cheese Factory. That's it. We're going to use the forwards plus render, I think. I don't think we're not porting to mobile. We'll leave Git on. There we go. Get that all set up and ready to go. We've got a sprite here. We will be using this to actually create some assets. I think we're going to be using a sprite. Maybe we'll use vector graphics. I'm not sure yet. It depends how the game ends up being. I haven't built a 2D game in a while. Why is Godot died? What happened to Godot? Are you loading? Why are you taking so long? Oh good, I'm not going to ask more questions and sit and listen. Okay, Caliber, enjoy the show. We're going to continue on and hopefully make a game. Why is Godot not loading though? Because is it me or is it... Okay, so brought it back. Did something happen? I don't... No, is it... Okay, I think it's loading this time. I'm not sure what happened. We're going to pretend it's all good. And there we are. A lovely 3D scene. Gotta love cups of tea, man. Cups of tea. God's favourite drink. Caleb Lambright. Hello, mate. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We're just currently getting our boundary set up, our set up, you know. I messaged you on Discord. You did? That's... if you direct messages me... Yeah, I was going to say, Caleb, if you direct message me, I'll delete it. I don't respond to any direct messages. If you need to get in touch with me, speak in the Discord server. Most people can help you there. I don't have time to answer everyone's direct messages, so I am sorry about that. I will try and answer you if I can, but I'm just always so busy. I literally, if I'm not doing this... yeah, if I'm not making YouTube content, I'll be working full time as a freelancer. So I currently freelance. I have a lot of bills to pay, and I don't have time to answer everyone. So I am sorry, Caleb. But yeah, just send me a message in the actual Discord server. If it's a question or you've got stuck on something, put it in the community forum. People should be able to help you there, if not me. And hopefully that should help you out, mate. Anyway, let's carry on. So, let's go to a new... What do we want as our first node? I don't know. I never remember what I like to go for. I always change it. I think I'm going to go for a base node, right? And we're just going to call this the main node. We'll save this as our main scene, and we will set this as our main scene, right? This is all just to make sure we got it flowing. And then I like to add a node 2D, and this will be our 2D scene. Right, 2D scene, and then I'm going to add a canvas layer, and this is going to be our UI scene as well. These are just the two scenes we'll probably need, although, yeah, that should be right. I was going to pay you $100 to teach me some stuff with Godot, but honestly, I just admire your work, and I loved your first 4 videos. Hey, Caleb, I appreciate that. I don't have time to mentor anyone just yet, but there is stuff that I am working on to be more mentoring. So in the future, there may be classes or some mentoring going on. I don't know if I'm going to be doing one-on-one mentoring, but if it's something I do, I'll pull it out there on the socials. And if you do still want some mentoring or help, just let me know and I will help you out. Right now, there's no plans to actually do it, but there is some stuff coming along that's going to be more tailored to teaching people individually, so people can pick their sort of path. There's stuff coming. Don't worry, there is stuff coming. Anyway, let's crack on. So we have our 2D scene. Now I'm trying to think how we're going to work this. So do we want a tile grid? I guess so. Do we want to use tiles? Yeah, probably best. Let's go to a sprite. Let's open a new file. We're going to have it a 64 by 64 page here, and we're going to be working in a grid of 16. I'm going to select a palette. What palette do we want to use? This one? This one looks pretty nice. Yeah, let's load this one. Yeah, there's some nice cheesy colours in this one. Alright, we're going to start with a black outline just to get things going. We need to get a cheese. Now, I need a reference image. Let me get some cheese. Actually, just like literally this image right here. Oh, can I full screen? Help. Someone sent help. I broke it. I broke the computer. Open image in a new tab. Boom. Alright, this is our little reference image here, guys. This is what we're going to be referencing. Let's grab this. Let's shrink grab that corner. There we go. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. We don't need a huge. We don't need a huge. There we go. So this is our reference image. It's a lovely piece of cheese. And let's hope let me control the handles for my Quest 2. Always. And anyways, I support you, and I'm going to give your latest fish some watch, and then get back on that horse. Yeah, nice one, Caleb. If you're into VR, by the way, there is a lot more VR content coming. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. That stuff is coming. So I like the dimensions of this, right? You've kind of got your bases. So if you go here, no, you know what? Boop. And then it would be flat. Right, and then we go up straight here and straight here. Now this... Oh. There we go. And then what we would do is probably come across this way. But there's not enough space. So how am I gonna... I need to go smaller, don't I? I need to go smaller. Let's erase this. Could probably press delete and now delete everything. But, you know, that's just not me. That's not me. I'm so thingy. Okay, let's have a look. So... Let's get on the pixel grid. That's not the pixel grid. That's the pixel grid. So we want... I want... What do I want? Let's start with this, right? We'll go across this way. Right? And then that's the peak of the cheese. Then we're going to bring this down, but we're going to keep 4 there. And we'll go 3 across, 3 across, 3 across, 3 across, right? And then maybe we'll finish it off just by going straight across and bringing this up. How big is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. And then we'll go 2 up. Is this going to reach the peak? Or do we want to come across still? That's looking better. Okay. Might even block that corner off, and no, they need cut corners, don't they? I even think cutting that corner there. And then what we'll do is we'll have a straight run. Okay, this is looking a bit more like cheese. That's good. Oh, however, I'm not a fan of this. I think it needs to be... How's that looking from a distance, right? Okay, let's drop in some colour, a bit of a lighter colour on top. It's getting there, guys, and then we're going to use this darker colour to actually create the spots of cheese here. Let's turn off the pixel grid now. Let's just get into the creative zone. We're going to try and create a little bit of like there's some holes in the cheese, you know, good old holy cheese, because it's the most cheese doesn't have holes in it, but you know, just because it's like the go-to sort of style for cheese, we're going to go to this lighter one for here. We'll have a couple here, maybe just like that, yeah, and then one up there. How's that looking? Is that looking good? I think that's looking alright. What do you guys think of the cheese? Is the cheese cheesy enough? Is it working? Does it work for you? I don't know. You let me know. This is where we're at so far, and we can even go. We could. No, I think this actually not gonna work very well. But we'll try it quick. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. Nah, I want the black outline. I think a hard black outline just helps. All right. We got our cheese. We got our cheese. Oh, I was not supposed to do that. Go back to pen mode. There we go. And then perfect cheese. Thank you, Caliber. I appreciate the kind words. Lovely piece of cheese there. So we're going to be working on a 32 by 32, but the cheese needed to be just smaller. That's hence why it's kind of there. And I think that's what we're going to go for anyway. That's kind of the idea. And I want to go to. It's 5 a.m. where you are, Caleb. Okay. That's early. That is early. It's currently 9:57 here, almost 10 o'clock. What am I working on? So I'm going to be making a cheese factory game, similar to Coin Factory, if you have seen that. In my own way, everyone loves cheese in my server, so that's what we're going to do. I also want to cancel. I want to move this so it's kind of central to this, because it is going to be a 32 by 32 square. Let's have a look. How many we got either side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Should be 8 above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. That means there's definitely 8 below right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Cool. So all dimensions are matching. That's our cheese. It's in the center of our little screen here. I think that works. I think it's looking good. Sorry, just getting rid of some notifications on my phone. Gotta make sure I check them. You never know what's coming up. Alright, first things first, let's save this into one of my pixel art. I don't know what I call this. A pack? Yeah, sure. A new folder in here. We'll call it Cheese Factory. Save that. And then this is just going to be called Cheese Factory. Give that save, and now just save this whole file here for us. Okay, that's the grids, but we kind of want it to be a 32 by 32 grid. So, frame, no, view. Here we go. Grid settings. We're gonna go 32 by 32. Boom. Huh? Wait. Am I doing something wrong now? Grid settings. Oh yeah, 1632. Wow, that's a big grid. I would not fill in that many pixels. All right, here we go. So we got a little cheese there. Now we need our actual cheese, like a conveyor belt, right? We need a conveyor belt. And the idea I have, if you ever seen vector plates, I don't know if vector plate. Oh, it's giving me. Vector plate is basically like it's literally a track that goes along. Basically, it's hard to explain. There's a mod as well that I've seen that actually use it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to I'm gonna. Can we what? Sorry, I should really full screen this so you know you've got. I forget you guys are on a. You guys are on a thing, so it's a lot harder for you guys to see. I need to draw a square. How do I do a square again? Give me the line tool. I need to line this, line this, line this, and line this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go for, what sort of colours do we want? This for our thing, this. Or do we make the conveyor a little different? Maybe we go for the greeny sort of colours, or blue. No, too much. Trying to think, how would it look? You should make little Ritz crackers as like a bonus. That is a good idea. I do like that idea, little Ritz crackers. That's the thing. We could add so much to this game as well. There is a few different ideas you could add, Caleb. So yeah, obviously we've got the cheese. Cheese is the main thing. We can add a cheese wheel. Ritz crackers. Obviously it can't be Ritz. It'll have to be. I was about to say Ritz with a T, but then I realised that cannot be in the game. Litz crackers. We're going to change it to Litz crackers, right? And it's going to be in the game. Confirmed. Caleb has an idea. I'm also, with this, I'm going to take like 3 of these. I'm going to 1, 2, 3. Disable. I'm going to grab 3 of this side and 1, 2, 3 disable, because I want it to be slightly thinner for the full grid. I want the edges to touch here because this is going to be where it's going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a white. I'm going to turn on my pixel grid and the normal grid. I'm going to get back to pen mode, and I need to kind of find the center. So it's here. It's here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. No, it needs to be that and this, don't it? Okay, the idea is to have... Do I need to double it up, though? Now, that is the question. Only because it's quite a thin line. That's looking better. Do we give it... So, this is the purple here. Do we give it this darker colour to go around it too? We just need to highlight the arrow. Because this is the direction it's going to go in, right? So, this is going to be where it goes. It's going to go in this direction. Turn off the pixel grid. And that's going to be our vector play. Essentially, it's... I'm not 100% happy with it. I might even see this. I'm going to take this and I might draw a line every, like, 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. So there. 1, 2, 3. There. No. You know what? For now, this is it. We just need a base template. We just need something we can look at just so it's got a little bit of prettiness in it. And that should hopefully work. And then hopefully that should be what we need. So let's... I don't know if this is better. Yeah, we're going to go for this slightly darker colour here as well, just because I think it will make it stand out what we need. Although I'm not 100% happy with it not being square. I actually think I might make it a square now I think about it. So 1, 2, 3, grab this other side. 1, 2, 3. It might even make it easier to work with as well, I guess, so I don't have to be so particular with what I do. I might just cut the corners out for a bit of fun, give it some dimensions or something. There we go. That's going to be it. That's going to be our thing. Believe me or not, I have Ritz crackers and Colby Monera Jack cheese in the fridge. Nice, solid. As long as you've got cheese in the fridge, you're doing well in life, because cheese is expensive. Nowadays, anyway. In the UK, it is. Jesus. You need to buy more Sunny D. I used to drink that all the time, but they changed the recipe in the UK, and it's just not the same anymore. It ain't the same, guys. It ain't the same. So, you know what? We're going to even go one further, and I'm going to just remove the core. I know this is not even important. I want to get the base game going. But I'm like, I need some sprites to work with, right? And then we need a little cheese generator factory, right? And I'm gonna basically go on these tiles. I'm going to steal these tiles here. I'm going to copy this, paste this, and I'm going to bring this down. Let's go over here just to And this got to be a factory. So what I want to do is I want to just replace this, and I'm going to turn off. Oh no, I can't. Oh, I can if I marquee it. And then I'm going to replace that. There we go. And then I'm deselect that again. Alright, okay. I like orange strawberry flavour. I have never had orange strawberry flavour, and that sounds amazing. I would love some orange strawberry flavour. Now, I'm going to really roughly do a little, like, factory building here. So please please don't judge me, and I won't judge you. So what, I'm just going to come down. Oh, God. Okay, come down here. Let's just go. What is that? So if we go there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way. Remove. Oh, change that. Give me this straight up here. Straight up here. And then we're going to have this come up here. It's going to come down. And then we're going to, well, actually, we're going to. And then we're going to, so that's a 1, 2. That's a 1, 2. That's a 1, 2. A 1, 1, and a 1. Perfect. There we go. And then I'm going to fill this in with, like, let's go something. So we've got the purple going on here. We're going to purplize this. And then we're going to probably add in a little factory door. This is all just, and we'll add in some smoke. Give me something like grey, like a darker grey, just to fit the effect. Let's turn off the pixel grid now, just so I can see. Remove these core. Well, change them back to that. And then we're gonna have this, like this, and then we'll even throw in a couple of variant colours in here just to help. Doesn't look terrible. That looks terrible. I think that works. I'm gonna change that one there. Even double up a bit this side. The idea is just to get it looking a little bit more like a bit of smoke coming out of the stack. That'll do, and then what we'll do is we'll add in factories have windows, probably not. Let's bring this across here. Bring it across here. No, it doesn't work. It does not work. That's fine. Little smokestack. Let's actually bring this up here. Bring that up there. Double this up. There we go. That's all right. I mean, it's terrible. It is terrible. But the idea is this a tile. Now I'm going to make this. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate it. It's terrible design, but the idea is that I'm gonna make this look better in the future. The idea is right now it just needs to be functional. It's what it's going to do. We're going to move on. That's it. And then I'm actually going to create another whole square here. And this is just going to be a background tile. So I'm actually going to go into these colours here. And I'm going to outline this. Well, actually, no, I'm going to outline this to the darker colour. It's going to be the line tool, straight across there, down here. And this is just going to be a single tile, just a background tile, if you get what I mean. And then we're going to give this a little bit of shading, just for a bit of dynamic. Which way's our shadow coming? Okay, so cheese is there, light's coming in this way. We want to make it so it looks like it's risen. So this is going to be our shadow, and this will be our light. I think, right? I deselect that. Oh god, no! Don't do that. Zoom out. Turn off the full grid. Is that looking right, or is that not enough? Actually, I think I want to do it here then. Oh god, get that line tool back. Bring that down here. That down here. This up here. This up here. That's looking better. Cool. And we'll be using that. We'll drop things on top of this. That should work. I don't know if I make these one smaller so it like fits in this square. No. We want it to be a full square pretty much as well. We just want it. Cool. This is our first starter one. I'm actually going to go to canvas size, and I'm going to up this. I'm going to double the size of this canvas from the top left corner. Now, the reason I'm doing that is so we have more space to work with in the future, but for now, we can export this Export sprite sheet, output file, cheese factory PNG in the same folder. Export. Let's go open that up. So I'll bring it on screen in 1 second. Let me just find it. Projects, Google Drive, game development, assets, pixel art, packs, cheese factory. Here we are, and then we'll go back to Godot. We're going to create a new folder. We're going to call it sprites, and inside of our sprites we are going to drop our cheese factory. And there we go. Cheese factory is now in there, and we can essentially use this. Let's just make sure it's import is all right. Lossless, yep, it's only a small file. It's not going to be an issue. And disable. I know it's 3D, but I'm just doing it anyway. All right. That's my problem. I have to either do it perfect or not at all. I love DLC and Steam updates. All games deserve updates and patches. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Alright, so let's create a new 2D scene, right? And this is going to be our base. Should we call it the base or game base? Or we're going to call it standard grid. Right, so we're going to set up our standard grid. We're now going to create a scenes folder. We're going to create a new folder called grids, because I want to be able to add in like a larger grid, a smaller grid, just for different gameplay. We also need to go to our project settings before I get too far ahead of myself. And in our display, since we're working at 32, if we've got a 32 pixel screen, right, so let's just work this out. 32 pixels is where we want it. We want to be able to go to, let's say, 640. Well, let's do the math. So 640 divided by 32 is our grid. That'll give us 20 along. And then if we went for something like, we need to be in the 1920s. So 16 by 9 ratio. Resolutions. So what we got here? So let's say 640 by 360. What would 360 divided by 32 get us? That would get us 11.25. No, we don't want that. What we want is maybe what if we divide 720 by 32? 22.5. Ah. Maybe 16 by 9 isn't the right aspect ratio we want. What about 1080? Surely. I was going to say 16, but that's just going to give us the same results. You know what? I think it's fine, because what we're going to do, we're going to go 640 by... So we're going to say 640 by... And we're going to set this at 360. Boom. That should be that set. We'll leave it windowed for now. Center of primary screen. Initial screen. Main initial window. Display window. Initial position. Oh yeah, that's fine. 0. Resizable. True. Borderless. It's fine for now. Stretch mode. We want this canvas items. I believe. I can't remember. Scale. Fractional integer. This will make sure it scales proportionally and everything should look good in pixel art, hopefully. If not, we'll go back to the other one. I can't remember if that's the case. VSync enabled, that's fine. We don't need to mess around with any of that. Initial position. We actually, if we go advanced settings here, it should be a window override width. There we go. We want this. Let's just do 1920 by 10. AESA default, save. So this is the size for our pixel grid, but when we launch this game, so let's go back to our main game for now and just drop in an icon here. When we launch our game, it should be a good size, but the pixel grid should stay right, and then we could be able to shrink and mess around with this. Base factory. Yeah, the cheese factory. It's about. Oh, look at that. Oh no, I don't know if I want that. Is that the integer one? Yeah, I don't like the integer one. I've heard it's better for pixel art games, but I'm not convinced. Back to fractional. Let's just hit play again just to test. Thinking base factory. What's a base factory? Sorry. Yeah, see, that's better because it just, although it's fractional, this just works better for us. There we go. And then over here, there's the space we have to work with. So if we delete this icon, we can set up, oh, we go to our grid. What we want is a tile map. And we can then create a tile set, a new tile set, square 32 by 32. We don't need physics layers right now. Custom data rendering resources. This is fine. Collision animation. No, none of this. This is actually layer. We're just gonna call this background. The background grid, and that should be good. We don't need Y sorting. Now down here in our tile set, we can drop in our cheese factory, right? Is that how it works? Tile map, tile set. Oh, we have to create a new one. Create a new atlas scene collection. Atlas. Sprites. This open. Let's bring this up a little. And there we go. We should now be able to just go to tile map, select this, and paint in here. And you can see here, this is sort of the tile size we'll be able to go with in terms of sizes. And this is what the grid will look like. For now, again, we're gonna make this look a lot prettier. Probably add a border around it too. But let's just remove all this. All right, we kind of want to get this central as well. So let's figure that out. Sounds weird, but I'm gonna create a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be 20, right? So this should be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, perfect. And then I can't remember how many up it said, so we do 360 divided by 32. It's 11. So we're gonna say it's gonna have a direct center, which is actually fine. I don't mind that. If it has a direct center, that's 360. Delete that, close that. 11 up here, right? I don't like that goes right to the top. I need to offset this just by a little pixel as well. But what we're going to do is have... if we have... So if the base factory is like 10 long, so 1... Oh wait, that will... 4, 5, there we go. So that's 10. And that high. I know this seems really weird the way I'm doing it, but it's just so I can get it central. Oh, not central, that's well off. Ignore me. What just happened? Can I select this? I want to select all of these and move them down. There we go. That's close enough for now. And then what do we have? Rendering quadrant size 16 by 16. Yep, that's fine. I think this all good. Cool. And then it'll be like we'll be able to come in here and drop in a map here, and it should be good. I think. Now the reason we're doing it this small, by the way, and let's go to our main scene and let's just drop in our scene grid, standard grid scene here. Drop it in, and there you go. That would be here, and that'll be central. And if we hit play on our game, it should look pretty decently. There we go. So we've got this, and we can actually just click around here. And now what we want to do is we want to be able to click in a grid, and we can't need to work out how our... To be fair, we could probably, in our grid, we can then probably just drop in collisions, shapes. What is the problem here? Tile map node is depreciates price multiple tile map layer nodes. To convert a tile map to a tile map layer node, open the tile map bottom panel with this node selected and click the toolbox in the top right corner. Oh. Did that fix it? Now what's the issue? To tile map node is depreciated superseded by one of its tile map layer nodes. Oh, so do I just need this and not you? Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. So this is the layer. That's interesting to know. That is very interesting. So what do we want to do here? We kind of want to add in a invisible grid along this. We need to turn snapping on too. So get our grid up. Let's Smart snapping, configure snap, configure the whole grid. Grid offset, we kind of want it to be 16 by 16. No, 32 by 32. Primary line every 8 steps. No, we'll do 32 by 32. Yeah. And grid offset, grid step. Okay. How's this looking? Now, if I was to let's create a do we want a let's create a new 2D scene. Call this the grid tile or tile grid tile. And in here what we want to do is just for now add a sprite 2D, and we'll just select our icon for now just for a test. And what we're going to do is shrink this down. I think that's 256, so to get it down to 32 we need to divide it by 8. So 32 times 8 should be 256. Yeah, that's correct. So what we want is divide by 8. Yep, 1 doesn't divide by 8. 0.2. 1 divided by 8 would be 125. There we go. It looks a lot smaller than I think it should be. Are we sure this 256? It's 128 by 128. 128 divided by 32 is 4. So we need to divide this by 4, which is 25.25. Yeah, that fits. That fits what we want. All right, save grids. Yeah, we'll save the grid tile in there for now. I don't know if we'll keep it there. And grid tile, let's drop this in. Oh, it's okay. Configure snap primary line grid offset by 16 and 16. There we go. And we want to make that smaller actually. So let's go back to our grid tile just slightly. So we're going to say like 0.2, 0.2. Save grid. There we go. Yeah, it's just so it fits in, so it looks nice. Also, I've noticed my lines are blurred, and I forgot that we need to go to linear. It's not linear. What are we looking for? Let's go down to anti-aliasing. That's all disabled. Textures. Nearest. That's what we want. Close. There we go. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. It looks a bit weird when you zoomed out, but that's fine. Oh, this is really early in the cycle, huh? A jam? No, this is me just... This isn't even jam. This is me just wanting to build a Cheese Factory game for my community. God, my voice has gone funny. Yeah, so... Yeah, it's really early. This is literally us just getting the base. We've just made a tiles sheet. Just obviously, this is a temporary graphics. We're going to upgrade these later on. But yeah, we've just set up a little tile sheet. We're just trying to mess around, get this working, trying to get conveyors working in the next bit. good old cup of tea still. Hell yeah, sounds sick. Thanks, man. Have you ever seen Coin Factory? I've said this what I'm basing on. It's going to be Coin Factory, but not isometric, straight, and with cheese instead of coins. It's essentially what I'm aiming for because my community loves cheese. Alright, let's have a look. So we've got grid tile, and then we should be able to snap this along. Yeah, so we can actually duplicate this. Oh. Now I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I need to use a grid for this. Do I need to use a tile map for this? I mean, I could make this so much easier by just copying and pasting a bunch of these. Yeah, I beat Koi Factory. Hey, there you go. But the idea is similar to that, but with some different features. There's more than just coins. There's cheese, and there's going to be different types of cheese. There's cheese rolls, brie, you know, all the good stuff. Camembert. Uh, you know, there's different cheeses, and then there'll be different upgrades and probably some different mechanics. But for now, the base game is something similar to that. That's what we're aiming for. Now, I'm just thinking, right? I don't know if I need my background. Like, if I just disable that background. Oh, okay. Uh, need probably not. It would be a nicer tree though. Yeah, you're right. But the thing is, I need to be able to click the tiles, right? So the reason I did the background, I was going to make some invisible. So I was going to make an invisible tile. So this tile, although it's got the Godot face on it, it's going to be an invisible tile that you can click to be able to place stuff down, right? And now I'm thinking about it. That would just be easier if I just make a tile, the background node. So if I got reparent these to a 2D node, just so I can invisible them all. If I just basically take the grid tile, change it to the actual cheese factory one. So here we'll then use a region or offset animation. How many frames got? 2, right? And then frame 2. What have I done this wrong? I think I have. I can't remember how you do this. We're gonna go to region enabled, and then we're gonna say it's 32. Oh, that's X. 32 by 32, and probably 32 by 32. There we go. Yep, that's the one. Right, and then I could just come back into this, and I could remove its scale, so it can have its default scale. And then if we go back here, if I disable that, enable this, then that's clickable, right? And that way, don't get me wrong, the tile map is great and it would work, but the idea is we want to be able to select a tile, and I think this way makes it easier, I guess. Because then I don't have to have, because one was going to be a functional tile, the other one was going to be a graphical tile. We're using the tile map, but now I think about it, if I'm making a functional tile, I need one for every single one, which means I might as well just cut out the middleman there and just go for that. I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to leave that unhidden for now. I think this works. And there we go. So now this, I'll be able to come in here and add in a area 2D, right? Or I could change this to be an area 2D. And what I want is a collision shape. And we're just going to make a rectangle shape. And this is going to be 32 by 32. Should we offset a little so you don't have any? No, it's fine actually. We'll have it full because then we don't want people to accidentally misclick in between. And then that's that. So each one of these will be some sort of clickable. Is that how I shove them under a node? Shove them under a node. What are we shoving under a node? Do you mean these? They're under a node now, right? Is that what you meant, or am I confusing it? And then this way, I think this works, right? So the idea is we're going to have this, and then we're going to be able to click. We'll have some icons at the bottom here where we can click and just click where we want the stuff to go, right? Yes, I did. Yes. Okay, cool. I already did it. Cool. I was confused if you were telling me to do it. I said it before you did it. Oh, did you? I'm just latency's probably there's probably some latency on the stream, so you guys are probably behind. Your messages come through before I get to a point. I'm confusing myself. Don't worry. Okay, so we have this. We just hit play. This should still look good here. There we go. And then we should be able to click these here. Should we have select? We need to be able to select something, and then be able to instate. Okay. Alright, what's the next step then? So that's my issue now. I've got to a point and I'm losing my brain. I'm happy with this. I'm going to delete the tile map. I don't need it. If I really do need it, I can thingy. About 20 seconds. Okay, it's about 20 seconds, the stream delay. That's good to know. Let's have a look. Grid tile. We want, oh no, we want the grid tile, and we want, if true, the area text bodies or areas entering and exiting. If true, other monitoring areas can detect this area. No. No, we don't want it monitorable because we just want it monitoring. Will you make button? Yes, I will make buttons for the UI where we click and add stuff to this, I think. This is essentially the button, kind of, in a way. I'd click a shape and then I'd shoot a raycast from my mouse here when I click, and then that's how it's going to go. What's up, anime? I always go to call you anime, and I know it's Amine. If it Amine or is it Amin? GM. Apologies for butchering your name, as I always do. We are making a cheese factory game similar to like an idle game. Sort of, you will place in factories and conveyor belts, and that way you will basically be able to, you know, do what you need to do. Graphic collision. Come here. So collision, we ideally want to edit the names of this. So we're going to have static, dynamic, and then grid, and we're gonna have a UI layer. It's the last pronunciation like Amin. Okay, Amin. Cool. I'll call you Amin. But it's written Amine. Okay, cool. Makes sense. UI grid. I think that's fine. And then here we want this, and this will be on the grid layer, and this will mask with UI. No. What do we want this to be looking at? So we've got our static world. It doesn't need to detect anything in the static. It doesn't need to detect anything in the dynamic, or does it? Are we going to change? Okay, so here's how I was thinking this was going to work. I was going to have this as just the point where you click, and then the tower that goes on top will have another area 2D that will detect everything else that comes in it. I think that's right. Yeah, that is right. And then I'm going to have in here then the caster. Right, the caster is me. This will be the mouse pointer. This is just so I can set, I think, what I need to write to that. So that should. So then we're going to set this as unit caster, which is number 5, because this only needs to detect one thing. It needs to detect a mouse pointer click, right? That's all it needs to detect for now. In the future we might be able to change that, but for now that's it. What's the general game idea? Okay, so it's going to be a cheese factory. It's a factory based game. It's going to be idle incremental, so you'll place a factory down and it will generate cheese, right? It will spit out cheese one way. And then you'll have conveyor belts that move that into a hub. Where would it? A shop to sell the cheese, right? So it'll go into a shop, and the cheese will generate money, right? So your cheese will come along. It will go in there, it'll be like, cool, you've just got 10 gold for selling that premium cheese. And then you'll be able to get different types of cheese. So you've got normal cheese, which is just worth 1. You'll have like premium cheese. And then cheese will be able to stack on top of each other, I think. Maybe there's one type. There's cheese for now. Basically, you'll have cheese coming along your screen. You'll be using conveyor belts to move it around. Coin factory literally just as a whole. Yeah, true. But I think the idea is it'll go into a shop and you'll sell it. Oh, nice. I did consider doing a 3D version, but I think... Yeah. Could you save your life, please? The live should automatically save after this, and it only takes about an hour before it will become available for people to watch. It has to process and do all of that jargon. So yeah, the stream should be up after this is finished, so do not worry. It should be all set, and we will be good. Hopefully. That's the general idea anyway. Alright, so we've got the tiles, we've got this. The next thing to do is probably the UI, right? We want UI where we can... What do we want to do with the UI? We want, at the bottom here, we want a UI panel that is allowing us to select an item and drop it in. I think. So we've got a tile grid here, and we should be able to actually, let's get these tiles clicking. So let's go to a grid tile. Let's add a script called grid tile grids. Grid tile. Where do we want to do our scripts? Probably in the scenes, yeah. So we'll create this, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder, call it grid tile, and I'm going to drop these in there to keep it a bit neater, and then in here we'll delete this class name up grid tile. This will just help with name spacing. I hope that's not already a thing though, because if there's a grid tile already, then we've got an issue. 2D, and then we want to detect a mouse enter, or a mouse click. We want to detect a mouse click, really. I really like game dev streams because you could interact with your viewers. Yeah, well, that's the whole point. I just enjoy doing it. I could teach you guys some going along. If you have any questions, you can ask me, and also you guys can help me, because there'll be times I get stuck and I'll probably need some help. Okay, so we're here. We want this. So what we want is the node signal, and we need input event. Is that what we want? Emitted when an input event occurs, requires input pickable to be true and at least one collision layer bit to be set. See input event for details. Can we see input event for details? Accepts unhandled input event shapes. Is the child index of clicked shape 2D. Okay, so it gets the viewport, the event, and the shape index. Interesting. Ah, there's a mouse enter. Oh. Note that moving between different shapes within a single collision object won't cause this signal to be emitted. Okay, that's fine. Can I drop a button on this, or should I just use... You know, I need to test if you really can't interact with scenes that you put in a tile set. I think you can, but you can't individually distinguish which tile you click on unless you individually had a tile in a different layer, which I think is the issue I was going to have if I kept the previous method of using a tile map. I think there's stuff you can do, and I think there's ways to detect the coordinates where you click, so you can click on your screen, get the coordinates, and then calculate that position of that tile, and then be able to manipulate that specific tile, which sounds really complex. But also, I'm going to need areas like area 2Ds and all of that, and I think this is probably the better way to do it this way. I think we want this, right? So I'm gonna connect this on input, and I'm just going to prints, that's it, clicked question mark, because I don't know, and then we need to actually go to inspector and turn on pickable. Yep, pickable is on. If true, this object is pickable. A pickable object can detect the mouse pointer entering such lesion, and if the mouse inside report input offense, requires at least one collision layer bit to be set. What collision layer bit? This, right? The question is, what mask do I need for the mouse? Let's Google it. I'm going to Google it. Godot mouse layer mask. Or maybe do you even need a layer mask when you use the mouse? You know what? We're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to hit play. Can't you emit a ref... Oh, okay, that's... Oh, okay, I'm going to need some information here. Let's drop the event out here. Let's restart this. Ah, look, button index. There's a pressed is equal to true. Okay, so we want if event.pressed print clicked. Right, okay, clear this. Let's reload this. Oh no. on input event, invalid access to property or key pressed on base object. Okay, I've done something wrong. Let's bring this back up. Let's just bring that back. Let's just, how do I, it's a hashtag, isn't it? And then event again. I probably, let me check what the event brings back again. An input event, here we go. So the input event brings is action pressed. What's in, if we're not sure if the given action is being pressed and it's not an echo event for input event keys event unless allow echo is true. Not relevant for events of type input event mouse motion. Action string name. Okay, interesting. Is action released? Is action type? Is echo? Is match? Is pressed? Here we go. So so it's a boolean. It's not a. Okay, cool. Let's stop this. Let's go back to this and we'll say is pressed, and then we'll drop this in there. Hopefully that should work. Hopefully. Can't you emit reference to the sell through signal? Okay, so that's coming through and it gives us this with button index. That's something we need because we're probably going to need to know about it. Cancelled false. I bet cancelled is if I click and then drag it out. No, that did not work. Ignore me. Can't you emit a reference to the sell through signals and put whatever you need on the same location? Well, whatever way works, and mine is all theory. So yeah, I think you can, but I think it's a lot more complicated than doing it this way. I think this way works. Yeah, it's messier for the tree. It's probably worse performance as well, but for now this is working. I just need to get, I want to get psych demoed. Cool, so the clicking is working. That's working. Now I need to know how I access button index. Right, let's see. I don't know if there's one. Perfect. So that is working. Button index 1 pressed, and event.buttonIndex is equal to 1, which will be my left mouse button. Alright, let's try this. Come in here, click. I'm right clicking now, I'm right clicking, and it did not work. Perfect, we are on a roll. So we can now interact with this, and this is where we will we'll keep clicked for now, but we're just going to put a to do in here, and we're just going to say, what are we going to say? So we want, clear that, so annoying. We want to place selected tile. Then we want an else if, and we want to say events.is pressed. We still want the is pressed. Actually, you know what? No. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go in here, and I'm going to use a switch statement. I think. How the switch is working? This I don't know. Event.button index, and then we're going to say print left mouse. Oh wait, I need a case. Case 1. Is that not how it works? Is it case 1? No. How do I use a switch statement? How do I use a Godot switch statement? Does anybody know? Godot switch statement. Does Godot switch statement do it? Oh, it's called match. Okay. Okay. Match. Match. Oh, it doesn't even need that. Event.button index. And then we need patterns. So 1. And then in here we say print left 0 will be print right. Bam. Incorrect. Correct. Okay, cool. Let's see if this. So we'll do that and then clear this, I think. Start this and let's have a look. Left. Oh, I'm right clicking, it's not working. Oh, what's the event for this then? I'm probably got it wrong here. Oh, I need to restart that. Oh, it's pressed like... Oh, okay. Oh, idiot. Idiot. Ignore me. That's not going to work because I had that still in there. It needs to know if it's clicked and then we do the mouse button afterwards. Alright, restart and let's hopefully... There we go. Clicked. Oh, it doesn't say... It still doesn't spell right though, so we still need to know what the event.button index is. 2. Oh. What's 0? Is that going to be middle mouse button? Yeah, no, middle mouse button's 3. Why does it start? Oh, okay, that's annoying. It starts at 1, 2, and 3. Interesting. So how do we... So we could put a conveyor and then we'll need to be able to rotate it and all of that stuff. So maybe wheel scroll to rotate it. We'll figure that out in a minute. And then on this, we need a variable which is going to be our tower. Do we call them towers? What would you call the... So let's say we have a factory and a conveyor belt and a upgraded factory or sake. What is that called? You call it a tower? Because that would be in a tower defense sort of thing. Do you call it a unit? I might call it a unit. What's the best word? I'm terrible at wording. That's what I'm asking, by the way. I think unit might be the right thing to say. Do we call it a unit? Var unit. Yeah, and this will be type. Maybe we'll create a unit as well. For now, we'll leave it like that, and we'll just set it to null for now. Just a null reference. And then in here, we'll be able to do stuff. So we have to check if this is empty before we can actually do anything here. Building. Yeah, you're right. Building is... Thank you, Gatre. I'm going to apologise for butchering your name. Gatre? 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 Tre? Gay? Gat? 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 Can I call you Gat? I'm going to call you Gat for now until you tell me otherwise. Gat. Good naming. Great choice. Yeah, see, this is why I need you guys. I'm just useless at naming things for you. What else do we have here? So 1046 to do place selected tile. Right, so that's what a left click is going to do. Right, so I'm thinking left click will place selected tile. Oh, I need to print place selected tile. This is going to place a conveyor. Right, I'm going to take a leaf out of Coin Factory's game, and conveyors are going to be free to place. You're not going to charge to place a conveyor. It's not a true building, but it is a building. You get what I mean. As long as you never say Gatra again. Oh god, I'm sorry. You can call me whatever. Okay, I'm going to call you Gat, so, and I'm going to apologise for calling you that other word, which I will not say again. You're welcome. Not welcome. I'm sorry. I don't know. Okay, so what we got here? So... We've got on input event. I don't know what any of these extra ones do. The only one we actually do is event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to underscore them because I'm pretty sure that's the way you kind of write it. So it tells Godot that these are useless. Ignore them. Okay. If event is pressed, print clicked event.button index. Cool. We don't need this print anymore. We know it's going to be clicked. We've clicked in the left or the right. And then... Thanks, man. Thanks, Gat. I appreciate it. Alright, so we're on the next stage. Far building null. What's the next step from here? What should we do next? So we've got this working to click. We now need to kind of play stuff, but we need to have a we need a global... We need to be able to get something from the, like, shop. Do we create a global... Do we create like a global thing that has the info, or do we do it on the main scene? Maybe even on the main scene can handle. Well, main.gd, this will handle a lot of features. and we'll probably want an export file of buildings. We'll set this to or we'll set to an array, and we'll probably need to create a building class. Null for now. Oh, can you not? I think just leaving it like that will do, right? And then, yeah, look, it gives us an array of buildings we could set. So we create a new building, pull them in here, and then we'll use a shop or something to grab that, or the UI scene to actually grab that information and place it where we need it to place. Also, I'm starting to think, though, that we need... So I'm going to need reference to this, 2D seed, I'm going to call it scene. Just needs to be called scene. And I might even just rename that to scene and then UI scene. The reason I'm naming that just a scene is because we're never going to have a 3D scene. So that it just makes sense just to call it a standard scene. Oh, and I should also update it there then as well. And then UI scene is UI scene. I could probably just call it UI. We'll call it UI scene. It just... yawning. Maybe I need more tea. It's got cold now, and that's my bad. I should drink it quicker. Next step, what do we want? Do you happen to have a folder structure you always go for? Or do you just do stuff as you go? I have a process in my brain, and it sometimes depends on the game. 2D and 3D scenario scenes are going to be different per how I do it, because 3D scenes get a lot messier. They need materials, textures, all of that, whereas a 2D game really only needs like sprites. You can get materials in there, you know, shaders and stuff as well, but it's a lot more simple than a 3D scene. So with a 3D scene, I would probably have a assets folder that your textures, your materials folders will all go into, and it will be there. Then I have the scenes that have the scenes and the scripts in, and then yeah, kind of like that. Similar to this, I'd probably have environment scenes, and then like stuff like the grid scenes and stuff like that. So we've got standard grid, the grid tile, stuff like this will probably still be in play. Oh, good. And then I'd probably have a scripts folder. So I do put all my scripts into a into their scene folder, but if they don't have a scene associated with the script, what I will do is I will create a special scripts folder that has got the external scripts in them. So anything like global scripts and stuff like that, you know, what they call it in here, it's like globals. So yeah, any global script will go into a special folder or whatnot. It just depends really. Okay, what's next? So 2D, we've got this. From here, I'm just gonna. I am extremely yawny. Oh, I just gotta check something quick. 1 second. Okay. How do I hide that again? I can't remember. It's fine, Tyler. It's fine. What are you doing? Let's create a new folder called scripts in here as well, because you are right, I do need a global script that is going to link some things together, I think. Yeah, okay, I recently made something like a folder structure template, so I was curious. I did look at a lot of different ones online. Yeah, to be fair, I do normally have a process in my head, but I haven't used Godot in a while. I've only been using it for VR stuff, which again has another sort of level of complexity itself. But yeah, most of my stuff is it depends on the complexity of the game as well. If it's a really big game, I'm going to change how I do my my thing. I'd modularize everything. I'd probably split it by sort of, if it's a level based game, I might split a lot of things by level. It all depends on the game. Like for this game, it's going to be so simple, I'm not going to need to really worry too much about my scenes or my folder structure as much. I might even add some subfolders to the sprites later on, like environment sprites, factory sprites, stuff like that, but we'll see. Or everything's going to be on one sprite sheet, and in that case, we don't even have to worry. Alright, let's get back to it. So I've gone off track and I don't know where I'm at. So we've got this scene. We got this because I'm actually going to be loading this separately later on. And we'll be able to load the items to this and deloader. We'll create like a scene loader. Ooh, so we can have a menu. Buildings array. Now we need to create, so we do need a class of building or a resource. Do we create a resource or a class? I think resource is the right way to do it. So this is where I need to think about my folder structure, because this is where it will get a bit more interesting. Do I create a scenes folder with buildings and then have a I'm going to call or buildings scenes, create a new folder, buildings, and then in here I'm going to create a new resource, no, new script, and this is going to be of type resource, and it's going to, sure, it could be an empty thing, and this is going to be a building, I think. It's what I want to do. So create that, open this up, and then I want to class name this as building. And that way I should now, if I go at export var name string or building name string, and we won't have a default, and then we can also export var, let's say building scene. We'll go full thing it, and then we'll say a packed scene like that. I think this is what we want, and then I'll go back to the main scene and I'm going to change this to a type of building. And now if we go to this, you see here we create a new one and it's instantly a new building. The building can have a name and we can drag in a thing there, yeah? So that's the structure I'm going for. I think that works. I'm just trying to think, because I'm going to want a script for the buildings. To be fair, they're probably going to need their own scripts, but I'm going to need a base script, which I was going to call building, and now I've realized I've called this building. Do I need it to be building reference? This is going to be the building information, maybe, actually. Building info, and then I will go back to this, rename it to building info, and I'm going to go back to this and call this building info. The reason I'm doing this is because I want a building script that's going to be my base script for every single building that will have some default values and stuff that we can inherit or extend, essentially. And the building info is just going to be all the data about the building itself, which allows us to reference it inside of the UI and stuff like that. So we need building info, and then we need the actual buildings themselves, which will have their own scripts and stuff like that. And that's where my thinking's come along with this. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Where is my clearer? Clearer there. All right. Building info. We've got grid tile building null. And this now can be of type. Oh no, it can't. Oh, can it? And now here's the next question. Do we want a reference to... No, we want a reference to the actual building, because they'll have specific features, which will have its info as well. Okay, cool. So, what do we actually want in here? So we want a name. Do I just call it name? Sure, we're going to call it name and scene. I don't think we need to go as far as having a prefix for it. I think it'll be fine. And then we'll export var, and then we need... So we've got a building name and then cost... and that will be an integer, or are we going to do it? Yeah, we're going to go for an integer, and we're going to set the default cost of anything, let's say, to 10. That should be a lowercase I as well, shouldn't it? Yeah, save. Alright, so costs, and then we need a cost multiplier. Now, is that going to be a base across the whole game? Because things can get more expensive the more you buy them, or the upgrade's going to get more expensive. The more you have, the more expensive it should be. Yeah, that should be right. And then actually that should be fine. I'm yawning. Cost int 10. Okay, I think that's fine. Packed scene is fine. String name is fine. Do we need anything else? So guys, can you foresee anything we're going to need in the future for this section? So we've got name, we're going to have the scene that it loads, and then the cost off that. I think that's really all we need. For Coin Factory, initial buildings get more expensive, but not the upgrades. Yes, see, that's true, yeah. That's what I remembered as well. So the initial building cost is what actually gets more expensive, which I think is fine. So we'll have a... We won't do it in here, but we'll have a base multiplier that it goes up by each time, depending on the amount you already own. So let's say you own 5 of them. It'll be you own 5 times 10 for the base cost. And then, actually, yeah, this should actually be base cost, because this is going to be the base. And then we'll have a function in here called... get cost, and this will have the type of, this will return an integer, and this will return base cost for now, but then this will do something like times owned times 1.1 or something like that. I think it's actually like 0.75 or something like that, because then it slowly over time goes up, and then we would round the whole number up in an integer sort of thing, but for now that should work. You could, but the idea is when you sell and bring stuff back up, you're going to... I always want a base cost, right? And I always want to have a function to work out the cost in case things change quickly. Anytime this function is called, it will get the thing, and I don't have to rely on changing a variable. It will just have the calculations in there. So I'll have a variable that knows how many you own. Is that going to be in the info? Owned, and that will be an integer starting at 0. So yeah, so this will then, I can actually get the cost, that will return the cost, and then we'll times that by the owned by thingy, and we'll set a minimum floor of the base cost as well, just so the 0 doesn't affect it, because 0 times anything is 0. Okay, I think we're getting there. We're getting there. We're coming along. I really want to get so I could plate a building now, I think, because this is cool, but it's not doing anything. So I need to think about how that's going to work. So I actually want to go to a tile then. We need to work out where our selected is. Is it in this main scene here, or do I create a game handler script specifically for this, which I think might be the better one, which will handle... yeah, let's create a script then. So in our scripts, we're going to create a new script, and what do we want this as? A GD script is fine, expense node should be fine, and then we want this global, we want this to... Oh, apologies, I've got so much yawn in me today. Yo, that's fine, Gat. Have a good rest of your day, buds. Enjoy your breakfast, and thank you for tuning into the stream. Alright, so the next thing we want to do in our new script is it's going to be our game script, like our playing scene. I need to name it somehow. So what do I want to name it? We got our new script. Let's lock in. Let's sit forward. Lock in. Have a good stretch. Game handler, I think. The game handler script or game manager. That's the one I want. We'll have a game manager that will handle what's happening in the game at a specific time. There we go. So this will have a class name called game manager. Actually, it will not have a class name because it will set a class name when I variable buildings is equal to, and then get tree dot root. Or is it get root dot root dot buildings? You know what? We're not even going to do that. We're going to have this set as null, because we're going to pull this in when the game starts. Because we'll probably, there might be a one where you do a limited game mode. We want this to be dynamic. So all the buildings info. This will do. And then yeah, we want to go project settings, globals. Grab this script. And there we go. That should now be loaded, and we can always call game manager dot buildings, game manager dot whatever we want. And then in the main scene, what we want to do is func set buildings, and what this is going to do, it's going to return void. It's going to say game manager dot buildings is equal to, and we're going to say buildings. And for now, we're just going to say func ready void. Is it ready? And we're just going to say set buildings. But in the future, we'll probably do this when we actually start the game. And then I want to actually go to, let's say, a grid tile, and when we click one, doesn't matter what we click, I'm just going to print game manager dot buildings, so we know it works. Oh, and we should probably, well, for starters, let's click it. It's an empty array. That's fine. That's what we wanted to know. But now we want to go to our actual main scene, and we're going to set our buildings here. Let's just set it as 2. New building info. In here, we're going to call test 1. Test 1. The rest, that's fine. And this will be test 2. And that's fine too. We also want to widen this a little. Makes it easier to read. Save. Play. And there you go. You can see the resource is there. It knows what it wants. Perfect. Let's just go buildings 0 dot name. Play. Click this. It says test 1. I should have set the right. Actually, here's an idea. Cut. Place. This will be building 1. Alright, restart. This is just to make sure the interaction is working. So first click, we get test 1. We right click, we get test 2. Perfect. That's all working. That is all working. We can delete this. Game manager is working fine. And this is where we're going to have that. I think the next thing we want to do is set up our UI, our game UI. So I'm going to create a new scene, a user interface, and call this the shop, or the shop UI. I want to go to 2D scene. I want to make sure this is always full width. Always full width and expanded. Apologies, I need to cough. And then we'll go back here, scenes, we'll create a new folder for UI specifically, and this will be the shop UI. Inside of here, we're going to add in a margin container, which will be full width. with a theme override of 16, 16, 16, 16. That might bring it up a bit too much. But then in here, we're going to add in a container. What container do we want? We want I want to push it to the bottom. So do I want to, I think a panel container, or panel, you know what? Let's just go for a panel. But what we're going to do is go set to the bottom. We'll have it full width and that, and then we'll go to layout, minimum size 128. No, I forget this in thingy. 32, 64. I might even center this as well and set minimum width of like 320. That's half. There we go. That should do for now. Let's just see what that looks like. So let's drop in our scenes, UI, and shop UI. Boop. Nice. I think that works. Let's hit play. That's looking good. If we shrink all this, yep, yep, yep. That's good for now. Okay. We're on it. Then add a child. We're going to call this a grid, right? Do we want a grid container? No, we want a horizontal or HBox container. Arranges its child controls horizontally. HBox, perfect. And we want this to be full. And we're just going to set up some overrides. No, oh yeah, separation. We're going to have like 24, right? No, 16. Grid. I do want some control. No, this is gonna do. This is gonna do. So we got this. This fits that bond. Do we want enough? Okay, so I need to add another margin node in here, and this one is gonna have like a, and it will be full size. The H box will go in here and be expanded straight to both of those. And then we're going to add another panel in this, which will have a minimum size of, what is the height and width of this box container? Again, the panel is 320 by 64, minus 16 is 48. 64 minus 16 is 48, yep. So we want this panel, we want actually to change the color of the panel. You know, that's fine, yep. And then I want to go layout, and I want to make this 48 by 48. That should... I think that should be good. And if I duplicate this, look at that. That's looking pretty good. I think I want the spacing, though, to now be 8 as well. Which kind of ruins the layout though. The 16 actually works perfectly, and I don't know how. Some way the math works for 5 different things there. Technically, these should be buttons actually, not panels. Let's change that to button. Button. Texture buttons, and we're going to add in where do I add the texture in? Oh, textures right there. Just go drag this bad boy in, and we're going to obviously make it a lot smaller. I can't remember how to do it. I think that one's the one we want. Ignore texture size, yeah, that's what we want to do, because we want it to bring it in, and then we'll go to our layout and we'll make this 48. Yeah, keep aspect center, I think is right. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Okay, and then we want to attach a new script for shop UI create, and in here we're going to have for starters a class name of shop UI, and then down here we're going to have a variable selected item which will be a shop of building info, which will be null to start with. Alright, where are we at? So we have, so far, what have we done? We have gone through, we've selected an item, we've got a grid tile up, we've set up this. We want to actually place an item on the grid tile. So when this is clicked, we want to be able to get what we've got selected here. And then we actually want to sell it to our game manager. So we want a variable called selected building set equal to null here. And this will be of type building info. In fact, we don't even need it in the shop UI, I don't think, right now. We'll keep it there just for the sake of keeping it there. But then we want, when we click on the texture button, we want to select the test one. So let's actually really quickly, let's go to a new 2D scene, call this a tile. Actually, it's going to be an tile, or test building. Test building. Go to 2D scene so I can see this, and I want to drop in a sprite from my sprites cheese factory. Drop this in. A sprite. That's it. Sprite, and then cheese factory will region this or sell it to 32 by 32, and we'll have building 032. There we go. So we'll have the actual factory building just here, ready to go. YU off-centered transform UR00. It's 00. I don't know why I'm questioning it. Test buildings. We'll go back to scenes, buildings, test building, save. And then we'll come up with the stuff for this layer. We just want to place this on our scene. We just want it to be placed in there, ready to go. We also need an arrow for where it. I just realised we can fix this in a minute, but we need an arrow to know where the cheese is going to come out of. So we'll do like a little arrow down the bottom here. Okay, what's next? So we've got this little test building ready to go in our shop UI. In our main, this is what we're going to do. In main, our building info 1, we're going to set up our scene, which will be our test building. The cost will be 10, but we're not going to do anything with the cost yet. We just want to place a building down. And then in our cost, this will be here. So we should probably set this up as our grid tile. Sprites, cheese factory, drop that in. And then can we how do I region this texture? I guess atlas texture, image texture, atlas texture. Maybe, yes, I think this is. So we drop this in. Region would set 32 to 32, and we'll sell it at 32. There we go. That's what we wanted. And that gives us that specific button there. And then we want to go. For now, we're going to directly connect this pressed to our shop UI on texture button pressed. This isn't how it's going to work, but we're going to set up a function to handle it. We're going to function select item, and we're going to set this as returning void. And in here we're going to say select, or actually game manager dot selected building is equal to, and then we actually need to pass it in from here. So we'll actually pass in the item, which will be of building info, and we'll set that to item. So on this texture is pressed, we're going to say select item, and we're going to pass in game manager dot buildings 0. That should work. Obviously, this isn't how we're going to have it in the final version. This is just for testing. We want to get a thing placed down on a grid cell. So we're going to select this item by clicking it. This will select it. And then in our grid tile, when we actually press left, I'm going to go to, we're going to instantiate a new building. So we'll say building is equal to game manager dot, game manager dot selected building dot scene dot instantiate, and then we're going to say, okay, we actually need, so this is the grid tile here. Let's create a new child node, call it a node 2, or do we just instantiate? Okay, we'll say add child building. I think, right, that should add it straight to our scene at the grid tile. Hopefully it should have the same transform as where we place it, but we'll find out once we actually click it. Print left. And here we're going to say if game manager dot selected building is not equal to null. Alright, that should work. And then if we right click it and it has a building, so if building is not equal to null, we're going to say building dot q3. Right? Just for now, let's do this. Oh, select, click. Select this, click. I've just covered up the whole of the screen with a shop UI. That's why you shouldn't do it this way. I've just remembered. So here, if you go to here, we could see it's got input, mouse, force pass control, filter, stop. See, we could ignore filter. Controls where for the control will be able to receive mouse input events through GUI input and how these events through. Stop. The control will receive mouse movement inputs and offense mouse. What we want to know is ignore. The control will not receive. Okay, pass. Pass is what we want, I think. Let's just try it. Hopefully that should work. Click, click. There we go. We got a building on our factory. If I right click, it removes it. What if I click it multiple times? Yes, and now if I right click it, it's not going to remove them all because we've now added loads of buildings and we've lost the reference to that building. So what we want to do is make sure that here, if and building is equal to null. Building is equal to null. This should fix it. Okay, so we shouldn't be able to place. So we select this, click. Now I'm going to click loads of times, but if I right click, it still goes. Perfect. We can add buildings to our game. Yes. Okay, let's go. I watched one of your tutorials. Thanks for the help. Hey, you're welcome, Donkzilla. Welcome to the stream. And I'm happy that I helped. Alright, so now we want a second one of these. So the idea, so this is all working now. We've got it. We can select one we can place in our buildings. Obviously, we're going to need to have the, we're going to have to tweak a lot of this anyway, but I think this is fine. Also, I think that does need to be slightly smaller. The actual, the pixel art, I'm going to pixel art so it's just within this, maybe a couple in. So it sits on a tile. I don't think it should fill up the whole tile now I look at it. It just kind of looks a bit weird. Again, the look of it will change anyway as we go through. It should all be good. Let's stop. Cool. So this is working how we kind of want it to work. But what we also need to do, we're going to have to add in a money system to this. So again, in our game manager, we're going to have a, let's do this, selected buildings, and then we're going to have a var called Money or cheese? Are we buying things with cheese, or are we? Is cheese the currency? Maybe it is. Yeah. We're gonna have cheese, which is gonna be equal to, which is gonna be an int that's equal to 0. Or maybe we start with some money because we need to be able to buy stuff. So maybe we start with 20. Right? We're gonna start with 20, or even just 10, because that's how much the base of the base cost of the building is. And that should help us. So we need to actually have some conveyor belts. We want an else here. Else if building is equal to null. Actually, I think I can simplify this and say not building. Else if not building. We want to print place conveyor. Right? And then we also want to say building not null. No, yeah, it should be if this is confusing me. I should leave it as it was. I don't know why I'm trying to go to the norms of Godot when I'm used to programming in different languages. If building is not equal to null, we will Q3 it and replace it. If it is, it actually does have a conveyor there. What we'll do is we will we'll place a conveyor. Sorry, my brain froze. I had a .exe moment where the wheel was spinning in my head. Game manager dot selected building is not equal to null and building is equal to null. We're going to build a building, and then if we click with mouse 3, we're going to rotate building clockwise. Right, that makes sense? Yeah, so we have this, we then click it, we rotate it clockwise. Hopefully that helps, I think. So these are all the interactions we want on a building, on a grid tile. We then have reference to our building, and this is just going to handle this. So I think we should set up a conveyor. So in our building, test building, this is it. I want to go test building 2D. We need a new child. We're going to have a node 2D, and this is going to come down. Oh, this. Let's bring it off the snappers. It's very annoying. The snapping isn't allowing me to do this. You know, I am going to change the snapping grid then. Configure snap. We're going to have this add primary line F316. No, that's not what we wanted. Configure snap. This can be back. That's where we want it. Cool. So that's where we're going to spawn the cheese. Cheese spawn point. Actually, I should just rename this to Cheese Factory, because that's what the building name is, isn't it? It's going to be the Cheese Factory building. Let's rename this to Cheese Factory. Apologies, I just tried to cover my mouth so I didn't cough into the mic, and I just pushed my mic into my mouth. I did that. I've got to stop doing that. My bad. Sorry. Cheese Factory. There we go. So that's still got the right reference. Technically, we don't need number 2 here right now, so we're just going to delete that. um, and that's good. So technically, I guess zero, array zero in my building should actually be a conveyor, but it should not show in the shop menu. So we kind of want a conveyor building that will, because it's still a building that we can place. We only place it with just using the right click though. Cheese factory, back to 2D scene. It has a cheese spawn point, cheese factory. Now we need a generic building script. We're going to just quickly create a script. It can inherit from nodes or even node 2D, and this will say building. Building create script building, and this will have a class name of building, and this by default, oh hello, this by default will have a variable export var info building info. Right, and that's all that's going to have for now. We'll have some other things later on, and then I can go back into my cheese factory, create a script, cheese factory script, and this will extend building. And then in here I can say export var test string. Just for now, just so I can have a look at this. So over here you got the test of string, and then we've got a building here. We can select our building. We don't actually want to do. Oh, do we actually want to create all our buildings settings as a thing as well? I think we do, which is going to be a pain. Okay, I see where we're going with this. Let's go back to play. Everything still works yet. So we come in here, we select a building, we place it down. We can delete buildings, well, sell buildings it will be. So you'll get your money equivalent back from what you just spent. To sell buildings, would you get less money back, or would you still keep the same amount of money? I feel like getting less gives you the incentive not to place something wrong, and it kind of says, oh, don't make a mistake, although it also could be really bad if the person places the first one and then sells the first one, and then they can't play the game. But I'm kind of contingency with that. For now, we'll make it sell for the exact same it costs. We can play the game first, and then we can see. I then want some UI in probably the corners here that says like, this is our how much cheese you have. So we'll probably do that soon as well. Cheese spawn point there, so this will generate cheese. It will place it here, and this will just be a cheese item. So we're gonna go back here, folder, and we'll say spawnables. And in here we're gonna have we'll create a new scene, 2D cheese. Save that scene. I don't know why I just saved that. I think I saved it in buildings. Yep, I did. Go into spawnables, and inside the cheese we're gonna have a sprite 2D that takes in an atlas texture. The atlas texture will be our cheese. I should probably convert. I'm actually gonna save this in a second. Region will be 32 by 32, and it'll be 0, 0. That is our cheese. Right, so we can spawn this cheese in. How do we want to move this? Do we want to use kinematic physics? I don't think so. I think we just want to translate it across, right? Because I don't see that any point of using any physics. No, there's no point of any physics in this. There's really not. I don't know why I'm even thinking about it. It does need a collider on it, but we'll get to that later. For now, I just want to spawn in cheese from our shop. So cheese factory. Yeah, cheese can be here, but if anything's placed in this region, it should destroy the cheese. Or not. maybe not. Cheese. I actually want this to feasibility. Can we have this order? Is there an order? Ordering. C index 1. I want this to be above everything else because this, if you place a conveyor or a building on top of where this position is, it should show it there. If you place a building, it should delete the cheese. If you place a conveyor, it should just make it move, right? That's the idea, I think. Save. Go back to our standard grid. Nope. Cheese factory. Here we are. So now we want the cheese scene. And this is where we'll come here. We'll go down to building info. We'll set up that soon. Scene, new packed scene. Oh no, not new packed scene. Clear. Sorry, I need to drag in the cheese scene. Boom. Cheese scene on scene. So that should be good. And then I need to go back to our main thing, and these building infos. I actually want to save this as the cheese factory. And this should be save as inside buildings information, and then this will be the cheese factory info. Save. There we go. And that way it should allow us to go back to cheese factory and drop in this one's information from information cheese factory info. Correct. I think we're doing good. We're making progress. We are progressing. That is all we need to do. All right. I am going to real quickly, run and go toilet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put on a be right back text, I think, probably. Text. Be right back. Okay. Be right back. Text transform, sure, uppercase, vertical, no. Color, what are we going to do here? We're going to just leave it that. Background, opacity. Yeah, sure. Alignment, center, center, outline. No, we don't need an outline. Background color, background opacity. Okay, and this will come. Transform. There we go. We'll be back. Be right back. Alright, we are back. Hello, Offrey. How you doing? Let's get back to it. I think. Wait, stop record. Why are you recording? Okay. Ah, there we are. I had to find myself. So what we want to do is come back here, check this. Oh, I'm clicking things. Here we are. So what we've done is what we've done so far. Let's get an update. We hit play. What we've got here is this shop UI. We could drop stuff in here. Doing great. How about you? I'm doing good, bud. I'm doing good, thank you. We can remove stuff, and we need to add in conveyors and also spawn cheese from the towers, right? So the cheese is going to spawn at the bottom here. We're going to add an arrow there to make that more obvious. And then yes, I think that's good. So what we want to do is next thing is spawn some cheese from that tower. So I'm going to go into the cheese factory script and we're going to say we need it to be on a timer. How do I want that timer to work? I guess the game manager should create when it's so I'm thinking how this should work. I think this needs a signal, right? Called signal, and this will be called the spawner. It's like there's a ticker, signal tick, right? And this is going to be called. This will be called anytime the game ticks over, right? So it'll be like boom, tick, tick, boom, tick, boom, tick. And I think the grid might be the perfect thing to actually do this from. So I'm just going to create a standard grid, and then in here we're going to add a child called timer, and this timer will wait 1 second, sharp, and all of that. So we're gonna get reference to the timer in here. We're gonna say func ready void timer dot start. And is this isn't one shot. If true, time will stop after reaching the end. Otherwise, as by the time will automatically restart. Perfect. Yeah, that's what we want. And it'll wait 1 second and call it every single time. And this will be our ticker. So we're going to timer, and then what we'll do is we're going to hook up our timeout function from this. And what we're going to do is we're going to call game manager dot tick dot emit. And that should call every single time. And then we can go back to our cheese factory, and we want to create a function. Ready will be when it's spawned in void, and we're going to say, we need access to this spawn point. And in here we will say game manager dot tick dot connect, and we'll connect a function called spawn cheese, right? And we'll say func spawn cheese. It'll be void, it won't return anything, and we will say, question is, do we need a reference to all the cheese for spawning, or will it be, it'll own itself for now. So what we're going to do is we'll put, I also need to figure out if there's already a cheese there, it will just combine the cheese value. That's something we're going to have to do. We'll figure that out soon, but what is the arrow operator? This just tells the function what it can return. So we can return an integer, a boolean. I just set it to void because it doesn't return anything. So if you was to return false, this would be wrong because you see here a void function cannot return a value. But if we just say bool, this will then be correct, if that makes sense. Hopefully that helps to understand why I'm using that. You don't have to use it. You can actually just not use this at all, and it will still be fine. But I like to define what what I'm doing, because I've worked in C# a lot. I've worked in some languages that define their types, and it just makes it just what I do. It's just simpler for me. Like return the PE. Sorry, I don't know if that's a mistype or if that's I don't know what that means. Spawn cheese, and then we're going to say instantiate and we're going to cheese scene. That's what we want to do. I thought so. Like return type. Yes, yeah, it's return type. Yeah, that's exactly it. Sorry, I didn't realise TH that should have been simple for me to realise. Yeah, it's return type. So var cheese scene dot instantiate, and then we want to say cheese. No, we don't want to add a child to the cheese factory. We want to add it to our grid, I think. Let's create a new node. Entities. And we're going to drop this in here. And then, how do I link this to the cheese factory? We'll get to this later. For now, I need a reference to this standard cheese. And what I'm gonna do is, when we spawn this building, we bring it in, cheese factory comes here, and then we need a reference to our standard grid. I think that's gonna be in our game manager. So let's go to our game manager and let's just make sure we have a reference to var grid is equal to null. To be fair, I should bring it up here. And then inside of our main, we're going to have our standard grid for now. We'll set buildings. And then we'll have a function called set. What do we want? We want to set the grid. Set grid. Again, this will be a void, and I will go game manager.set or dot grid is equal to, and we're going to say standard grid. Okay, right. And then we want to get the entities. That's fine. So in here, we want to go game manager.grid.entities is it dot add child cheese. Clear. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's try it. There's only one way to try it. Bring it in, select this, drop this here, drop this. Invalid access to property or key entities on base object nil. So that did not work. So this did not work. Why? Because grid in the game manager is here. Grid should be a node to D. And this in our standard grid on its ready function, what we're going to do, so I've done it in our main, we don't need this. This is a pointless feature here. We just want to go to our grid. We want to go game manager.grid is equal to self. And then self.end. So this might work. Let's refresh. Let's see what happens. There's no error. But it's not oh, cheese is spawning. It's up in the top left. Perfect. Okay, it's just not in the right place. So back to our cheese factory. We then want to set our cheese dot global Oh, of course, we need global position. Cheese.global position is equal to cheese spawn point dot global position. Or maybe it should spawn at the factory and move down one. Interesting. I'll figure this out, but I think for now it will spear out underneath it, and then this will need conveyor belts to. So if I spawn this here, you can see it actually stays there. We want to destroy the cheese, but we'll get to that later as well. Okay, we're slowly getting places with this. We're getting places. We need a conveyor belt, so let's go new node. Actually, no, this needs to be an area 2D. Oh, damn it. That's not what I meant. Change type area 2D, and then what we want to do is, so let's go to 2D so I can see this. I want to add in a collision shape in here, and I also want to set in a sprite. I'll drop in my cheese factory. Enable 32 by 32, and this should be 32. Conveyor belt, there we go. So conveyor belt, cancel actually, I don't want to save this yet. Conveyor, sprite GD, collision shape, this does not have a collision shape. We need a rectangle one. I'm going to bring that in, oh, just as a buff. And then this will go Y32, this 32. And then we're going to have a new node, which is going to be a node 2D. Move to position. Yo, what's up, Gat? We're getting now. I'll show you in a second what we got to. So we're going to have a move to position. And that is going to move it from here to here. Right? And we'll save this in our building scene. It'll be the conveyor building, and then we need to do this. So monitorable. If other monitoring areas can detect this area, no, we don't need to know that. We just need monitoring. Collision, we want it to be on the static layer because it is a static item as such, kind of. Yeah, and the mask will be. Okay, so we need more. We need entities. We need the entities layer here, and this will check for entities on this. And then here we're going to create a new script, the conveyor script. We'll sharpen this up soon. We need to area entered, a body entered, or an area entered. No. We are going to need to switch our cheese to have a static body, I believe. 1 second. Apologies, we are back, and let me show you where we're at. So before we mess around with this, I'll show you where we're at. We've got a factory. We could place our factory and they will generate cheese. So we actually keep placing cheese here, although you can only see one cheese right now. I'm going to do it so once a cheese is placed on a cheese, it's going to combine the cheeses together, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. So yeah, we're going to have we can have a line of cheese factories, and they're just going to drop out cheese. You could then have a conveyor belt coming along here, taking it all down here. We got cheese generation pod. Yeah, cheese is being made. That is it. We've got the cheese in there. We just need conveyor belts now, basically. So this is what we're working on now. And we need to go to our script, drag in the move to position, and then will we get cheese squared? Yes, that's the idea. So obviously the cheese currently is just stacking on top of each other, which isn't ideal. What we really want is that if a cheese touches another cheese, it will become two cheese squared. Essentially, that's the aim, and maybe we should do that first. And we'll have a little UI name number next to the cheddar, the sprite. Potentially, we'll play with that in a moment. First, let's go to our cheese quickly, and I think we need to make this an area 2D. So we want to make this an area 2D, and then we're going to have in here we want it to be monitorable and monitoring, and we want to change this to an entity layer. We also want to make sure it can detect other entities. I don't think it needs to detect anything else because it only needs to connect with other entities, and doesn't necessarily need to be pickable. We'll leave that for now though. And then inside of our, we don't have a cheese script yet. We also need let's add in a collision shape, and we'll just drop in a rectangle, and we'll make this rectangle 24 by 24, not a full square, just because I feel like that might be too much. Breakfast was great. Orphy, I had waffles. Nice, solid waffles. Do you have any toppings on your waffles? That is what I'm curious about. Alright, and that should be right. So we've got our cheese, that goes there. Then we need to add a script here called cheese script. And then we need to detect whether node, excuse me, area entered this cheese, right? We need to detect if cheese entered it, and it should only detect other cheeses or entities. So we need to check if this cheese. So how do we do that? You know what we'll do, and we'll say if area is cheese, and we're going to have a value here, so we're going to say far value, which will be an integer, and it'll be set to 1 by default because that'll be the cheese's value. When they combined, it will become more value, and we'll be able to manipulate this value from our factories and stuff like that later on. So what we do is area cheese value is 1, and then we'll say if area is cheese, then we will say area dot, we'll say value is plus equal to area dot value, and then we'll say area dot q3 to delete it. Boom, gone, and that should up our value, right? Strawberry jam and whipped cream with a bit of vanilla in it, mate. That sounds amazing. Ah, now you've made me hungry. I've got to go get lunch in about half an hour, so, you know, half an hour of lunch is going to be good, but it's fine. We're fine. It's fine for now. Area, Q3, function on area entered. Area, we got our value, we're dropping this off, and it's coming round, so area, sorry, I'm talking to myself. I know I should be talking to you guys. My brain just works in mysterious ways. Makes sense to me. It does indeed. So that should work, right? That should work. And I am going to just print cheese value, and we're going to print the value. Ah, you are right. Yeah, because if they do connect, they probably will delete each other. You are right, but one function should happen before the other. But how? I've got it. Is main equal false, right? Or equal true? No, because they'll all be false. No. We'll see what happens. I don't know if this will destroy it before it runs its own. So one of these should run before the other. Ah, you're right. Can we have the explanation on this? Deletes the object from memory. Pre-existing references to the object become invalid. Any attempt to access them will result in a runtime error. Checking for references will return false. You know what? I've got a new way of doing it. 1 second. 1 second. Close. What am I doing? I've just like spammed the wrong buttons. You're a genius. Thank you for this. You are right. I'm going to continue with Q3, right? But we're going to have a far used, and we're going to set this to a boolean, and this will be false, right? And then in here we're going to say area.use is equal to true, and then we're going to say in here if area is cheese and used and not used, or wait, oh crap, why have I got two cursors? And not used. Right, so we'll check if it's not used. If it is used, so if this has been turned to used, then this should stop it from happening, I hope. Because obviously Q3 just take a second, you are right. We don't want to rely on that stopping this. We want to rely on something else. One of these should run before the other, I'm pretty sure, so we'll figure it out. Let's have a look. Play. Yes, look at that. I'm just going to check in the remote the main scene standard entities cheese. It is just one cheese, and its value keeps going up. There you go. The holy cheese is doing it. I think the cheese that is currently there, if something is placed on top of it, that's how it works. So there you go. That is working. Lovely stuff. We need to display the value, but right now I'm not going to bother. I know that it's an important piece, but we know how the value works, so we should be good, if that makes sense. Let's go to a conveyor belt now. Back to the conveyor belt. So we've got this conveyor. We want to move the entity from here to here. Okay, yeah, we'll do the test. Sorry, yeah, let's remove the not used. So we'll just delete it from here. So this should just, and we'll, you know, we'll even do that as well, just to double check. Press play. Ah, no, look, it deletes itself. So you are right, Gat. If you didn't tell me that, this wouldn't have worked, and I would have been sat here for a whole minute figuring it out why it didn't work. So you saved me some time there. Good job, Gat. Let's crack on. Conveyor belt. Move to position, and we need var entity. Entity, and we will set this as a node 2D because it technically, it's an area 2D. Are they area 2Ds? Just a node 2D. This will span down anyway. We'll set this to null by default. I also prefer my onReadies to be last. Oh no, those to be last. I don't know. So we've got entity. We have this be the entity on top. There should only ever be one entity on top. So we shouldn't have any issues, but we'll do some error checking later on just to make sure. Because second entity will enter as it's coming along. But it should be destroyed when it gets to the cheese entity. I think. It's going to be a lot of error checking here, but it should be fine. So what we want to do is say, maybe we should have entities and make an array. And that way it doesn't matter if there is multiple, it will just move them all along at once. I think my logic is working here. Tell me if my logic isn't working here, but we'll crack on. So next thing we want to do is just say we want it to move per tick, right? So we want a function ready and void, and then we want to say tick. Do we want to delay a tick though? So one comes out. Math in my head is hard. Tick. No. What was a game manager dot tick dot connect, and then we'll connect a function called move to position. Move entities, I think, and then we're going to create a move function called move entities. It's fine if they all run at the same time. Yeah, I think so. Void, and then we want to say for each. How do I loop through Godot loop through array? What's the best way to do it? That's it. For I. That's it. I knew it wasn't just a standard for I. It's a for entity in entities. We're going to go in here and we're going to say print entity dot name. Cool. Although we haven't got any of this yet, so it won't do anything. But I've just realised I actually want to place this conveyor before we do anything with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it a placeable object. So inside of our grid tile, if we, here we want to place a conveyor. So we need to get a reference to a conveyor. And to do that, we need to create a new we'll call this conveyor info. Duplicate in conveyor info. We're going to reset that C and we're going to call this conveyor. The base cost is going to be 0 and the owned does not matter. Conveyor, and then the scene is going to be our conveyor scene, and it will always be 0, right? So then when we go back to our main here, we want to go here and we want to add in a new element. We're going to drag in the conveyor, but we're going to drag it up to be 0. I always want that to be 0 because that's the main thing we'll be able to place. And then in Cheese Factory, I need to go to the shop UI and the inside of here. And this needs to be 1 because the factory, obviously this is going to be dynamic. Eventually we're going to get the list and display them dynamically, but oh shit, I just punched my mic, apologies. But right now it should thingy. If hell, personally I might pass belts before factories. Oh, I did this for my pattern spawner. Interesting. And then in our grid tile down here we want to say building is equal to game manager dot buildings 0 dot scene dot instantiate, and then we want to say add child building, and that will build a conveyor belt here, right? Hey, look, we need to rotate these, but I'm going to get to that later on. Right now, I'm going to have it straight. How do I... Oh, I could just right click it. Perfect. Cool. As in, I looped an array for the pattern spawner because I wanted to be able to set mob values dynamically. Nice. Yeah, that's the goal. It will be to... Everything will be dynamic in this sort of idea. Okay. So we've got this. I need to remove these debugs later on, but we'll keep them for now. What do we want next? We want to actually go to our conveyor here then. Actually, what we want to do is we want to test this quick. Select one of these, place it, and right click that. And this should move it to there when we actually have the tick working. How do we need to move to the position of that position within 1 second, so it will be like a chain. So in here, move entities. I need an update as well, so move entities once a tick. Actually, okay, I have it. Okay, I don't have it. You can refactor is pressed so it checks how the mouse moved until it's released, and when released it places the building. Yeah, that's probably the better idea, to be fair. I will probably refactor that later. The controls and that are all just iffy anyway. I think needs to be thought about better, but right now it's get the MVP and entities. So I was just thinking move entities, but I don't want to snap it. I want it to move linearly. So really this needs to be inside of a func process. I should probably do this in a physics process actually. Fixed. Is it fixed? How'd you do it again? Func process. Physics process, delta. And then we want to do this. If move ready. And this will be far move ready is equal to false. And then in here we want to come in here, move ready is equal to true every time it ticks. And then this, if move ready, it will loop for everything and get it moving. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, lerp is what we're probably going to want to do. I'm just trying to think how we trigger it to move it without... Problem is, I've got this... So, yeah, that does work, but inside of the game manager, there's a tick, and I want everything to move relative to the tick, if that makes sense. So I want everything to be in sync. You know how Coin Factory works? So the timer's already there. That's what. So I don't know if you were here when I was doing here. So you see in here we have a signal called tick, and then in our grid, so our standard grid, we have this timer that every single time it ticks, it emits this game manager's tick. So it will just keep ticking along. That's essentially what I've done. So the standard grid will actually be the main scene for the thing. Yeah, so the tick will then move along. Basically, I just want this to trigger the animation of moving it along. So I think I need to make this a bit more complex in terms of how the conveyor works. So it just gets an entities. I think what this needs is not this. In this, it will set it to move. So this, ideally, Godot array. Let's have a look. I want a array of objects but in a GD script. Dictionary is what I want, isn't it? Yeah, I want a dictionary. I want an array of dictionaries. So we're going to have an entity, which be, one second, let's create a far. Okay, so we want the array just to be an array. It doesn't have to have a value now. This will have, actually, it's fine, because what we'll do is entities. I got the idea, I think. So I need to connect this signal of area entered. On area entered, drop it in, and we're going to check if area is cheese, because we're only going to do cheese for now. If we add more later, we'll come and we'll remodel this. We're going to say entities dot append. Is it append? Yep, append, and then we're going to pass in a dictionary, which will be the entity, and this will be area, and then we want to, that should be that, and then we want a ready to move, which will be set to false. We want this individually because we want to go through these, loop if they're ready to. So we want this back in here. We don't want to go entity dot ready to move is equal to true, and then in here for those we're going to go down here. We're going to do a similar thing. Delete that. Entity dot ready to move, and then we're going to move it there. I think that's what we want to do. And then once it's moved, we're going to set okay, we're getting somewhere, I think. Sorry, I haven't read the chat. I'd use time it in the main scene and use that. I have no idea how it works. Right, so why not detect the signal and then use that as the trigger? Because I want it to move. So the idea is as soon as that cheese goes in there, I don't want it to then, as soon as it touches it, to then trigger it to go to the next one. I want it to get there, stop, next one, next one. It's hard to explain. Hopefully this should, once I've got this, it should make more sense. Move entities, entity, ready to move, so it's that entity, and then in there it's entity.entity. So now we should go entity dot area or dot entity. So double entity here. We want to say we want to lerp the precision, don't we? Let's just do a quick Google. Godot lerp precision. Interpolation. Physics processing precision. Linear interpolation. Perfect. Okay, let's have a look at this. So what we want to do is say entity.entity.global position dot linear interpolate, I think, right? So that's actually a function, and then we want to get its current position. So we want to say no, we want to get where we want it to move to position. Shit. Dot globe. I'm gonna call this target position. Target position dot global position. Actually, do it up there just to keep it cleaner. And then we want to move our entity, which will be our time. So we actually want in here physics process Where is t? Okay, so we want t plus equal to delta times 0.5 because we want it to happen in 0.5 seconds, I think. T there, far. Promise we can't keep resetting this, it's not going to work. This doesn't make any sense. So we need T and then far. Maybe we want the time in the entity. Time 0. Sorry, I might be confusing this a little. And then we'll go entity time. And then once this has reached its position, so it will be if entity dot actually entity dot distance to entity global position dot distance to, and then we want to get the distance to target position is less than or is less than 0.1, 0.01, 0.5. We'll give it 0.1 and then we'll say entity.ready to move is equal to false. I'm probably overcomplicating this. Oh, right, sorry. Okay, that makes sense, Kat. I don't know if this is going to work. This all works in my brain, right? I also just for debugging, I want to print area entered area. Close back here. Okay. Okay. Maybe? Place a conveyor. Non-existent function linear interplay in base vector 2. Okay. Why doesn't that work? So we get position linear interplay. Oh, it should be. Wait, no, that's fine. That is correct. It does exist. Am I wrong? I think it's been updated. That's why it's not working. It's actually now moved towards.
The wait is over.
Oh, I don't want a YouTube video. Sorry, I want a. Okay, so we're doing this wrong. Let's for start. This is fine. This is wrong. And we don't need time anymore. I don't think. So we want to say in here, global position is equal to move towards. And this is going to be from, which is going to, oh, it's only on the position. Oh, okay. Can we do a vector move towards? So vector 2 dot move towards? Ah. Aha. So we want to move. I think we still want this again. Dot move towards. And we want this to move towards. So let's have a look. What's this tell us we can put in here? Is this not a function? Apparently not. Okay, I'm just googling by the way, so apologies. The vector2 function is called lerp. Is it? Still not working. Wait, I think. Okay, so that does work. It's just because it doesn't recognize this entity.entity. So global position dot move toward, and then in here we want to get. So move toward. So it should be the from position, which is going to be its current position. And then it needs to move towards its target position. And then we need to pass in delta. I don't know if this is going to work. Invalid call to function move towards in base vector2. Expected 2 arguments. Maybe it's that. I'm pretty sure it should have a speed though, right? Yeah, apparently it's only 2 positions, but I kind of want it to have a. To float. Cannot convert argument 2 from vector 2 to float. I obviously have no idea what I'm doing. Global position dot move toward. Alright, so it has a 2 position and a delta. Okay, that makes way more sense. I just closed that, didn't I? Okay, I get it now. So this is move towards. It's going to have that and then a delta. So that should be delta. Restart. Hopefully, you need to find the position that entity needs to go to first. No, you only need where you're going and the delta. Sorry, yeah, sorry. Good shout, Gap. Invalid access to property or key globe position on base object dictionary. Area dot. This should be the. Wait, am I? Oh, sorry, you are right as well. Yep, that's my fault. Target position. I still think this could throw an error. Yep. Is it because it's in a dictionary now? This might be actually how you have to access it. I don't know though. Oh, ignore me. Ignore me. It's down here. Look, 14. It's right here. It's because I didn't put entity. Uh, it started moving, and then it got freed. Ooh, okay. We gotta get it from there to there, and then when it leaves, we also need to remove it from its entities. So we need to times this by 5. I think. Restart. Okay, it moves quicker. It is moving quicker. It doesn't move fast enough. Yeah, that's the issue. It doesn't move fast enough. Just for the test, let's do this. Conveyor building. Perfect. In fact, once it's at its global position, entity ready to move global position on a base product previously free. Yeah, so we also need to check these are where are we doing this? Line, what line are we at? 0? 13. Oh yeah, it has the arrow. If and entity dot entity. How do I check if something's been freed? Godot check if freed. Is valid instance. Otherwise, we're going to remove it when we come through here, where we go if instance entity.entity is a valid instance, then it'll be ready to move. Else, I need to remove it from the remove indexed Godot remove value from array. Where are we going? Array.move that, that's it. So, and how do I get index? Get index of entity Godot. Okay, so we have to actually update how this works here. So we need to say for I in entities dot size, and then we want to say entity is equal to entities I dot entity, and then we can actually delete that, and we can just entity dot ready to move just like that. Then we can say else, and then we can say entities dot remove at, and we're going to pass it in I. And why is there an error there? Also, we need to stop this. Where's it gone? Output. There we go. Good. Try. What are we saying? Orwell 60. 60 is for 1 second. Is it? Okay. If that means it has to be a fixed size though, right? Oh. Oh wait, yeah, no, that can't be that. So it'd be entity.ready to move entity dot entity and then restart. Almost there. Hello, I'm back. Is the conveyor working? Almost. We're getting there. Uh. Hmm. Is it because it's already in the loop and when you remove it, it's causing an issue? Okay, so you are right then. We need to do this 120 then because we want it to be half a second. We want to move, stop, move, stop. That's what I'm trying to achieve. Entity.entities instance ready to move is equal to true. Entities remove that. Hmm. um. How you use erase uses that and a variant. Okay, cool. What we got? This is where it always becomes an issue. So we need to check if this exists, but we don't really do it because we want to remove it. If it's removed, how is this looping through something that's removed? It'll be because the second one isn't there because it removes at the first one. So what we want to do is actually check before this. All we want to do is this and okay. Oh, here's what we want to do. So we want to create a new loop. Is zero a prox function? Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that in a second, Gat. Thanks for that. So I need to loop through this again. I need to say for entity in entities, right? And this is going to do this functionality here. So for entities in entity, we're going to go here and do, oh, we'll copy this and do this, right? And then we also then want this to run, we'll probably run this first actually. So we want to say if not right, we're going to do this. And then I want to move this first. Restart, try again. Why did one go backwards? Why did it go backwards? Oh, is it? It's done it again. Why? How? This should never have the wrong size if this isn't in there and removing stuff at the set. Oh, this can have the wrong size still because this is. This isn't going to work. I'm going to need to do something different, I think. how do we do? How are we gonna handle this? Sorry, my brain has completely fried itself, I think. For i.entities.size, we need to get entities, this and that and that and this and this and that and that and that. We need it to move across. This should wait. Okay, if on, then move to the next square in grid. There's actually a much easier way to handle this now I'm thinking about it. Oh, but that means refactoring a lot of things. Okay, so the idea. Should the entity okay, new idea. We're going to our entity, our cheese entity. We're going to create an entity thing. So let's go to our scripts. Create a new script. This is just going to be gd node from node 2d, please. And this will be an entity, or is this? Yes, an entity. Lowercase e. Right, we're going to get a lowercase e. And in here, I'm going to set this to class name entity. Right, and then we're going to delete this. We want to actually tell this to move itself. Right, so each one will then move itself on its own behalf. We will not have to worry about trying to get a reference to everything. One enters, if it's in there, it sets it to move. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't worry about it. Oh, so we need to go to our cheese, and in here we need to extend. It needs area 2D though, don't it? Okay, so our entity will need to be in area 2D. That's fine. That's fine. This needs to be in area 2D. Then this, I've lost cheese again. And this will need to extend entity. Entity will then handle the movement. So in here, we want to say, really, you're just going to be a pain for me. So this should all work. This should all work fine, right? This is all good. This is fine. We're happy with this. What we want to do with this is we want to go in here. We then want to create a far can move equal to false, and then we want a far move to equal to null. I want to set this as a boolean, obvious reasons, and move to will be a vector 2. It will be a global space vector 2. I think does okay. Vector 2.0. Leave it at that for now. And then we're going to say function physics process delta pass for a second. And then func move to position. And we're going to pass to a target. And this will return void. And so will the previous. And in here we will say, what we're going to say, we're going to say move to equal target dot global position. Target. We'll pass the global position straight through. And then in here we're going to go back to our conveyor belt script. Let's remove these. We want, actually let's just delete all of this and that. Entities will still be there. We're still going to append entities. This is just going to be an area though. And then we don't need this. Actually, we do need this, but we need that. And we want to do that. And we want to say entity dots, and because this is a type of cheese for this one, we can actually check if entity, I think, and that should still work, but we'll set for cheese for now. And then what we want to do is go to the ready function, delete that, and we want to say what is can move equal to true, and cheese will move it because it will be on a tick. That's not what we want. We're an entity. Move to and can move. Conveyor. So conveyor will get it when it says, it will say can move is equal to true, and e dot move to position will be, these should be a type of entity. It should receive the target position. Oh god, that was a lot, but this should make it a lot cleaner, a lot easier to work with, and this can be entity, right? So if it's a type of entity, it will, if it's an entity, it will go in the entities and it will move itself along the line, and this will then be like, cool, you're an entity, we can actually move you, so what we're going to do is move you. And then in entity, we want to actually do the movement, so we're going to say if can move, and what did you say? Is 0 approx. We're going to say global position dot is 0 approx, and then is this to move to? Pass. Is 0 approx. Return true if this vector's values are approximately 0. Oh no! So this returns 0 if its value is almost 0, 0, but because it's when we're moving it, its values won't be near 0. So actually, oh, we should stop this trying to run as well. We actually don't want to use this. We still want to use distance to, and we're going to say distance to move to is less than 0.1. What's that? 0 approx returns a true or false. Yeah, I think the issue is it's approximating its position to 0, and its position is actually well, its global position will never be 0 really, because it's not going to be in the top left. It should only be in the center of the screen. So I think that's right. Oh. Is approx 0. You mean like this? Am I doing it wrong? Is approx 0. Good day. Is approx 0. Return true if the vector's values are approximately 0 by running global scopes dot is 0 approx on each component. This method is faster than using is equal approx. Ah, okay, so this is fine, but what we want is approx 0 compared approx equal. Is that not right? Is equal approx. Oh, it isn't right. Ah, so I get what you're saying. So this is how it works. So equal approx will check if it's close enough to, if these are close enough to each other, if that makes sense, if these values are approximate. I hope we're going to figure that out. Anyway, back in here, actually we want to do this as an if. If it is approx, then can move is equal to false again. And then we're going to go in here and say if conveyor. So what we want to do is, oh, we want to lerp it now, don't we? Ignore me. We want to lerp it. So go back to entity. We want to say global position is equal to global position. Oh, global position dot move towards, and we're going to move you towards our move to at delta times 120. I think this is what's going to do it. I'm also going to print in here can't move, just so we know this is working, because we don't know how this works. Right, and now let's go back to our conveyor and just double check this over. So for entity in entities, if entity is valid, entity can move, entity don't move to a target. We also need to promise on leave. Okay, yeah, yeah, func. Well, actually, no. What am I doing? Let's go to node area exited. Right, so that's on area exit. Why do you not have? Oh, this is a grid tile. Where's the conveyor gone? Buildings. Conveyor. Conveyor. Oh, I'm not. I wasn't selecting the scene. We want to go here. Connect to this on area exited. On area exited, we want to say if area is entity, and if entities dot contain. Oh, how do I figure out? Check if item is Godot. Check if in array. Oh wait, if area in entities. Pass. So we'll see if that resolves itself. It did. I meant if it doesn't work, I'll yeet itself off the screen. Yeah, that's true. No, because it'll always still be moving towards that spot, but it'll just be moving like tiny amounts. You might not notice it, so we'll just allow it to pass. But it would be funny for it to yeet itself on the screen. That would be nice. If we're using physics, it probably would. It probably would yeet itself straight off the screen. And then what we're going to do is, if area is entities, then we're going to entities dot remove or remove at, and then get index of entity Godot. No, I don't want to do that. That sucks. Array.find. Aha, entity array find, and we're going to find area, and this is going to give us find. It gives us an int. Oh no, that's not what we want. Find. Find returns the index of the occurrence. Yes, so we want to then just take this and say entities dot remove at entities dot find area. Whew, that should work. Let's just start from the top. So we're going to get a position. We're going to get the entities of type entity, and we're going to set this tick to move. When this moves, it's just going to say things can move and the position it can move to. We're then going to say on area. We're going to say area entity start pen child. Okay, here we go. Just double check the entity script. I think we're fine. Let's hit play. First things first, let's just add 2 conveyors and then that. Oh, something bugged there. It is bugging, but the The conveyors are working. I think the cheeses are erasing each other before they can move. That's the issue there. So we need this to be delayed. We need the binding to delay itself. No, we don't. Yes, we do. No. It's all working because this is still going to be the correct value, but it's graphically ugly and annoying that it glitches and doesn't move along. Okay, so that's another bug we need to fix, but it's getting there. So we need to make sure that I think we're going to have to delay the timer slightly. What can we do to fix that? So the tick is going to be 1 second. Does it need to move quicker? No, because as soon as it comes in. 1 second, let me play again. Conveyor, build. Ah! I've got it. Oh no, I don't got it. No, ignore me. Ignore me. Is it the combining of cheeses that's the issue here, or is it the... Yeah, so Gat, the reason it's not moving when it should is because the cheese... So the cheese goes into the array, right? So we've got our conveyor array here, the entities array. Cheese goes into it when it first spawns. Then when a second one spawns, it spawns on top of the other cheese when the tick happens, which then deletes the cheese from this array, the one that was here, but then adds another one that joins, but it's too late for the tick to happen. So I either need to delay this or I need to do this a millisecond before the tick. So I need like a pre-tick. Or a post-tick. I'm trying to think if I should create a post-tick or a pre-tick or both. No, I couldn't do both because I have to do 0.9, timer of 1 second, or milliseconds. It would have margin for error, which wouldn't be good. We don't want the margin for error too much. We want to limit the margin for error. The best way I could think of doing this is maybe either delaying the cheese combination. What if you spawn cheese first, then do movement, and instead of spawning it in front of the factory, you spawn the cheese on the factory? I was thinking that, but then we... Yes, you are right. You're 100% right, Gat. Let's go back to cheese factory. So instead of spawning it here, right, what we're going to do is we're going to spawn it at itself. Then we're going to say cheese dot, and then we're going to say move, no, can move is equal to true, and cheese dot, what's the entity again? It's the move to position. Move to position is equal to, oh no, it's a function, move to position, and it should be cheese spawn point dot global position. Gat, amazing work. You have really helped me out today. It would take me another hour to figure that out. And I think this is what we want. Now we need to rotate these tiles, right? I'm going to add the rotation in just so we can see it moving along. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work on whatever's next. So what we want to do is rotate it 90 degrees in clockwise position, right? So which would be the Y? No, the Z angle. So we want to go here, building dot rotation. Actually, what's the correct way to do it? Godot rotate sprite 90 degrees. Why is this actually so much harder? That doesn't make sense. Good. Rotates. Okay, so building dot rotate Z 90, and then we need to convert to radians, right? Degree to rad. That is what I meant. Yes, degree underscore to rad. What do you mean? Oh, do you multiply it by that? No, I don't think you do. I got an idea from Coin Factory because they basically do the same thing. The spawn. Yeah, that is right. You could just do rotate pi half. Pi is 180 degrees in radians. Genius. Pi divided by 2. Let's see. Oh. Oh, there's no Godot rotate on Z axis. Why is everyone talking about skewing? What? Let's just come here. Find rotate. Rotate is transform.basis.rotated. Okay, here we go. So we go here. So we say rotate. Apparently, rotate Z should be a thing. Okay, we're gonna do this one then. Rotate, and we're gonna say vector 3, 0, 0, 1 by pi 2. Restart. Oh, is it? Okay. Apparently no rotate. How do you rotate 2D object? Good day. I don't want to hear of it. I don't want to hear any of this. Okay. Yeah, you don't need any of it. So we're going to do this and this. It's still going straight down. Why? Where is the... Okay, go to remote, manager, scene, state, type... Oh, God. Uh, okay, so... Well, that works. Does look silly, but it works. Why does it work with that one and not that one, considering they have the same setup? Oh, wait, stop. Have I got the same setup? Conveyor. Let me go to 2D. So that goes there, right? And then if we go to Cheese Factory, that is also there. That's a node and that's a area. Does that affect it? Shouldn't do. Like if I rotate this, right? Transform, rotate, that moves. Wait. I've got it. I know what it is. It's because I'm being an idiot. I get global position here. I need to get it when... That's why the F1 works, because this isn't set there. It's set when we pass it through. Okay. Okay. It shouldn't be able to go back. Or, well, actually, we're going to... Yeah. It's so broken. That's fine. Alright, we want it to go this, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Dun 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 dun. Oh, sometimes the cheese... So now I found a new bug. When the cheese is coming across, I have an idea. It's a player skill issue. Yeah, that's true. I know why that's being deleted when it comes that way, because this cuts across it. So the cheese box needs to be smaller. See this collision shape I've done? 2D. It's just too big. Who thought this was a smart idea? We're going to go 16 by 16, which is the right size for that cheese. Let's set up our system here. It's cheese, cheese, cheese. Now we'll see. Oh, it still catches it. I don't really want to make it smaller. How is that catching it? It doesn't even go near it. Oh, don't want you. Oh god, I just rotated nothing. Of course, I should check if that... I should check if the building is not equal to null before I try and rotate nothing. That's probably smart. But also, delete this, save this. I really need to go for lunch, but I really want to keep working on this. We'll probably finish this rotation issue and then we'll move. We'll call it a day. But let's figure this out. So okay, let's just for the sake of this, let's just make this really small, because it might not be this. It could be the fact it's something else. It's working there. Let's restart this. Alright, I want to just get my conveyor system set up. Crap. And then let's place this in there. Alright, let's see. Does it go? I think we have done it. The cheeses are flowing. We have a cheese factory. Yes, yes, yes. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. What an amazing game. Alright, guys, I think this is where we can call it a day for now. I'll be back another day to keep working on this game. I may even work a bit on it off stream, but I'll try and record it so I can at least post a video for you guys if you do want this. Cheese Factory, it's going well. How long have we been streaming for? 4 hours, almost 4 hours, 3 hours 28 minutes or something like that, apparently, according to my thing. Yeah, it looks like it's all working nicely. It gets nice and close and then combines rather than combines from further out. It just deletes it midway in, which is nice. There we go. I'm happy with this. It's looking good. I am happy. You know what? Another way we can combine the cheeses. We could know, because that means reference and everything. I was going to say we could check the cheese distance. It's been 4 hours already. Yeah, I know. I was very confused at that too. But yeah, it's been 4 hours. So hopefully we can do more on this. I'm happy to leave this here. I've got to go get lunch. I'm starving. I'm sure my missus is probably starving too. I'm going to need to feed her as well. So yeah, guys, Gat, you have been a godsend, sir. Thank you very much for tuning in this stream. The MVP of this stream is Gat. He has saved us a few times. So thank you, Gat. And we will just end this stream here. Thank you for tuning in. Wait, Gat just said so. I just want to say you could have disabled the areas while moving them too. Gat, I gotta go for lunch. Why you gotta tell me this? I'm gonna add that to a to-do. Look, it's going in a to-do. Entity. We'll put it down here. To-do. Disable collision while moving. Right? And that way, it will either make the cheese will then actually combine before it then realizes, oh, we're inside each other. Boom. Hopefully, that's what we'll do. But we'll figure that out. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.